I know that when I'm out in the public and I see a child with Down syndrome or some other disability, I have a big smile on my face and I think, oh, you're lucky. But I think other people wouldn't think that way. But I had to go through this experience to change that viewpoint.
Like Mariska was tested during the pregnancy, but they didn't pick up on it. So we didn't know until she was born, and she was literally, was a cesarean section, she was literally held up.
Yeah.
And I said to Mariska, oh, she's got a very special look about her. I didn't even recognize it as Down syndrome.
Tipper truck.
Tipper truck, good boy.
I was afraid about what it would mean to have a child with Down syndrome. I felt that I wasn't having my own child anymore. Somehow I foolishly thought that he wasn't going to be like me and like his father, and that he was less ours because of that.
Okay, hold on.
It was all a bit of a whirlwind and happened really suddenly, and yeah, we just kind of had to roll with it, eh?
Yeah, it was a big shock and went through all the motions. Yeah, but I mean, then he came out and he was locking in, you know.
Oh! Exciting! Good boy. Sit down on your bottom. Down on your bottom. Wow. Can you find Mickey's face? Lockie's 4. Right from the beginning, we had the same expectations around Lockie in his life as we would for any other child. The older he is getting, the easier it is parenting him. And it's just so exciting to see him develop into this confident little wee guy who has clear likes and clear dislikes. Oh, what's this one? Bath. This is the word. Bath. He has lots of words. He's stringing sentences together. He's using sign. He's able to communicate his needs and his wants. Banana. Banana. What's that one?
Cow.
A cow. Cow. That's the word. Cow goes. Moo. As long as he's happy, healthy, and progressing in whatever way, that's all that matters to us.
Hello, Alexander. How are you?
I did make that.
You made that? What did you make?
Rice.
Rice, that's fantastic.
Rice. You made some rice.
I don't need to make any now.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Hi. How was your day? How was your day? You had a swimming lesson?
Yes.
Did you do lots of floating?
Digging.
Digging? Awesome.
I think you only have to look at Alexander when he's at his best and when he's really happy and when he's giggling. He just brings us so much joy, and we couldn't love him any more than we do. Ready? Set. Whoa, that was a big one. Wow. The highs are a lot higher because any gains that Alexander has attained have been hard-won.
I think if you have a child with a disability, you tend to think the smallest milestones is quite a big deal. And so you still, as a parent, feel the same way as those parents who might have what we call a normal child. In fact, I sometimes think that we have far more empathy for him, and his ability to meet them means a big deal than maybe our other children. He's happiest when he's working and doing something, and he especially likes being big brother.
He sings them a good night song. He's taught them other songs, and we've told him how proud we are of him that he's taught them these songs.
All right, Ima. Shall we make a sandwich? You get a knife?
Ooh, big knife.
Well, Ima is just a girl.
Very girly, very caring, loving.
Very happy. Besides the girly side, When she needs to, she can be very firm and very strict or even bossy. Yeah, not a pushover.
Her pace is a little bit slower, so you need to be patient.
The way she can enjoy little things
Yeah.
reminds me then to enjoy little things.
Yeah.
Why was that thing that I was working on so important when we can just be here and have a good time with each other? That's the key thing, and then the rest is second priority.
Hey, go. Oh, good. Oh, good.
Oh, good boy. Open.
So we've been going to the Wellington Early Intervention Trust since he was about maybe 9 months. Just been amazing. It's also given us a whole range of tools to be able to use at home,
that's what
hasn't
I
it?
found really useful is, you know, the best ways to help him learn, and, you know, because I'm learning to be a parent myself, but then having to, learning the best ways to help him learn as well has been really good.
First, we'll have our conversation. Then we've got... penguins, perfect. Which one? Perfect choice, thank you. So we have a boy eating a banana.
No.
Who is sitting on the table? It was a little boy. Perfect, high five. Boys.
For every dollar you put into early intervention, you save $4 later on.
So,
Getting in early for kids, certainly from a communication perspective, if you can maximise communication early, you can minimise frustration, you can minimise behaviour problems later as a result of communication problems.
blue, lips forward, blue. Let's get them forward. Beautiful work. Down, 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 down. More. Better. Lips forward, please. More. Can I help? Yeah? Can I help? Let's go. More. More. Lips forward. Or. Where's your more? More.
Oh.
Beautiful. Or. Red. Ball.
We're also in the process of preparing for school transition, so the Wellington Early Intervention Trust facilitates that transition.
Whoa.
And it's really intense learning, and they're pushed to try new things, and if they have sensory issues or they have social anxieties and so on, you know, there's a whole range of things that they're negotiating.
But children with Down syndrome have what we call low muscle tone. They often have an association muscle dyspraxia, which is muscle sequencing, being able to get the muscles into the right place. I think it's essential that it's done at a very, very early age, because they can then just build upon what they've learned as they move further through life, and they've got muscle memory as developed at a much earlier age.
Alexander, can you sit down? Alexander, can you sit down? Good job. So the first thing that we're going to do today is say...
Hello.
Hello. Hello to Alexander.
When Alexander was 5, he was no longer eligible to go to the Early Intervention Trust. So that's when it became really important for us to make sure that he had that continuity and still had access to a music therapist to support his development.
Alexander is really motivated by singing, playing instruments, playing music-based games, but the goal within that is communication and social skills. So music therapy is using music to develop non-musical goals. Go to sleep. Are you sleeping, dragon?
Yes, I am.
Are you sleeping, dragon?
fortunate to have a class of very kind children that do try and involve him. Obviously, the more friends a child has, the more comfortable they can feel. So that is very difficult when you see the lovely bonds that children have together, playing together and learning from each other. And then when you see how much harder it is for your child to interact with others and to approach others.
I'll see you guys.
It makes me sad for him.
We would like him to be independent and be happy and to
That's
have
the most important thing.
and to have something that makes his life fulfilling. And I think that's what everybody wants. It just might not be exactly what other people have, but he'll probably achieve that. So I think it's important to make note that he's not going to be the president or prime minister or whatever, but he'll definitely achieve things that he will be proud of.
Okay, let's hang up our gear. When we looked for her school, and we found this great teacher who was able to adapt their program to make her fit in. That's real inclusiveness.
Are you going to go and sign in on the roll and then do your work journal? Awesome, thank you. Emma's a very happy, joyful person. Fits in quite, naturally into our whānau in room 15. She's coming more and more out of her shell, sharing her thoughts, and she's just a pleasure. She's a bit of a sparkle, really, into our classroom. So we're going to have a game of Bring Me, okay? I know you've been working a lot with your numbers, okay, and I'm going to see what you can remember.
The core principle of Montessori is follow the child. It assumes that children are inquisitive by nature. You don't have to force them to learn something. You just need to guide their path.
Emma, what quantity would you like to get? Would you like to get the 1,000 cubes? Could you please, Emma, bring me... Oh, how many? 3? Could you bring me 3,000 cubes? Okay, you go and bring me 3,000 cubes. There's lots of movement in there, so they have to hold the number in the head, the quantity that they have to go and get. And that's why we purposefully do the lesson quite far away from the material, so they're walking backwards and forwards with the material. That age group need lots of repetition to build the memory. That's why we're always repeating, what did I ask you, what did you bring? Oh, here she comes. Let's see what she brought us. How much did I ask you to get, Emma? 3,000 cubes. How many did you bring? How many did you bring? Shall we check? Yeah. Let's count together. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. You got 3,000? Yeah.
What colour is 4? Oh, check again. You're on your pyramid. Gold. She ends up teaching me, I think, a lot about life. She's very easygoing, interested in what we're doing all the time, very social with the other children, and I think reading is going to be her passion.
I think it's important for any child to be able to communicate. That's the main thing with Emma being a struggle. Because, yeah, she communicates, but other people just don't understand it.
She's getting frustrated as well if she can't get her point across.
Yeah.
Because she noticed that we don't understand her.
What's going on with your hat right now, Emma? Is your hat being naughty? Yeah.
Without her communicating well, it'd be even harder to get, friends or be able to play with other kids, and that's so important for her. She enjoys that.
I never really did it this way, but this is the weirdest moment of my life. Emma, your hat's down over your face. Down syndrome makes Emma way more different than she would be, but as well. It changes her a lot, but it doesn't change her being Ima.
They get a real kind of hands-on experience of what equity is. The education system's built around tolerance and empathy anyway. So yes, I think they are aware of the Down syndrome, but they know Ima as Ima.
And me too.
She's not a girl with Down syndrome. She's Ima. She's a person, and she's a very special person. Well, yeah, she's got Down syndrome, so that means a couple of things, but that's really not so important. That's not what defines her.
Hey, cheeky. Mummy just has to go do a little bit of work. Being a single mum is a bit of a juggling act. It's combining the work responsibilities with my responsibilities to Lockie and around the home. Oh, Mummy just going to do a little bit. Come, Mama, come, Mama. I work from home and I structure my working hours around Lockie's kindy hours, and I do a bit of work on the weekends and so on, just pretty much whenever I can.
The fries are coming. Which fries look good? Which ones look good? They're a bit hot. Well, he's quite rigid in his ideas about how things should be done and by whom they should be done and when they should be done. And he likes his yaya, his grandmother, to be sitting down at the table as well.
Come here. Okay, what's wrong? And
He gets to the table.
you want yaya to sit next to you?
Yes.
But she's not feeding you. You're old enough to feed yourself.
We just learnt over the years that we needed to try and give him the stability of a routine, and we do things like explain to him in detail what is going to happen the night before if something's different in particular, making sure that that has been explained, sometimes even hyped up, so that he perceives it as a positive thing.
She likes to be in her little world with her dolls and having those conversations with them. And sometimes you do hear some words. I mean, she can talk, but when she's in her own world, she just, she makes up words. But sometimes you pick up things what she's talking about.
Sort of loses touch with her age group. They move on and they're not interested in Ima anymore. And for Ima, their games are probably, although she finds it very interesting, it's probably too complicated for her to take part in.
Ima?
And kids, you cannot blame them. They're not going to slow down for Ima to keep up with. Her peer group is just she loses touch with them. But then she tries to connect with the younger children.
At school, she knows a lot of people, but there are a few who will come and have a little play with her.
Real friends, I think, is difficult.
Yeah.
Come on, good boy. Let's go get your bag ready for when Dada comes. Good boy, in we go. Come here. Where's in your bag? That's it. Yeah, that's probably not the best. He's tired and grumpy. There's, I think, a misconception that a lot of relationships break up if their child has a disability, and that certainly wasn't the case with us. So we co-parent. I think we've worked quite hard to make sure that we keep the communication channels quite open, and we text quite regularly and let each other know what we're doing and what's happening. And we have, like a kind of a shared calendar, so I'll upload something into the calendar that child, you know, will then have access to, and
vice versa. So
yeah. So I think it's just about
we sort of made that
talking.
Clear from the start when we separated. Lockie was the main, our main focus and the #1 priority. So yeah, that's just how it's always been, and from day one and how it's stayed. So.
Hey, Lockie, Daddy's gonna be here soon. We're gonna put your rain jacket on. Look, it's so rainy outside. Who's that? It's Dada!
Hello. Wait. Hello. How's he been? Oh. I think as long as he's in a happy, loving home, he's happy, and that's what he's got in 2 places now. So, it seems to be working quite well.
Yeah. No, you want to go home? You want to go to Daddy's place?
Huh?
Yeah, just do whatever you usually do. Okay. Sweet.
Okay, ready to go?
Good boy. Give Mama a kiss.
Mama.
Mama kiss. Love you. Love you.
Bye-bye.
You want to go to 6:37?
Yeah.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. Cheeky.
Bye.
Bye. Love you. Have a good sleep.
Cool. See ya.
See ya. Bye. Bye.
Goodbye.
Which way?
I'm at a stage where I don't know if I'd want to remove his Down syndrome if I could, because I think I'd be removing some very important traits of his.
Give me 5. Good boy, well done.
Yeah, I don't think you have to be a superhero to raise a child with disability. You just have to give them the time and the love, and they'll develop quite nicely.
Watching. Looking up. Good boy. Looking up. Here it is.
Yes.
I want.
Yes.
Good boy. Give me 5. Good boy. Well done.
One of the main concerns is he's at a higher risk of having a range of health problems, and because I naively thought that the heart problem, once that had been fixed, that we had our big challenges, and then we had more, and then more recently Alexander's had some seizures. You just sometimes wonder what's next.
Where's Lockie? It's 4. Good boy, look. What's it say? Your bag.
It can be a lot of work, but for us, this is just what our lives have always been, so I wouldn't know any different.
Here we are, Lockie. It's green. Thursday. You gonna put that one up? Well done! Can we put this?
We have exactly the same aspirations and dreams for him as what other parents do for their children that don't necessarily have a disability, and it's about having a good life. It's about having access to ordinary, everyday life experiences and pathways.
Hands ready?
The children just love him and they interact with him as an equal. They don't treat him as any different, but they know he can do the activities that they can do. He might just observe a wee bit, and they also know that they're role models for him.
Yeah, you show me?
Parents worry about their kids, but that's true for almost any child. We all worry about our children. With Alexander, I think that I try to emphasize on what he's done and what he's capable of doing more than what ifs, because you just don't know what's going to happen, and you're not going to enjoy your child if you're always worrying about them. So it's really important to keep it in perspective and try not to think of the potential problems, I think, if you want to keep sane anyways.
It's challenging to make sure that each child feels like they're getting enough attention and enough love. As the twins have gotten older, Alexander's bond with them has strengthened. They've found things that they have in common, and we are very fortunate to have a lot of support, particularly from our family. My mother stays the night 2 nights a week and is here for 3 days of the week, and then my dad and stepmum come 2 days a week.
What color is the grass? Green, huh? And the red truck, and this is the wheel, and the wheel is in the muck.
My dad is incredibly helpful.
You get your reward by seeing a smile on my daughter's face. Somebody has to help her, Amalia. Otherwise, you'll eventually collapse.
We could worry about him less, but we couldn't love him anymore, and we couldn't enjoy him anymore. We truly feel blessed to have him in our lives.
But I understand why people might be afraid to do so, to go through that experience. But for us, it's been incredibly rewarding, and we feel really strongly that we love him huge amounts, probably more than I ever thought I could.
More than we should.
We should. Yeah.
You back? Should I just put this on?
Yep, go for it.
Yeah, she's really nice, really loving.
Yeah.
She can get a little bossy at times.
Yeah.
If we don't quite do things the way she wants them.
She sometimes gets bossy.
Yeah. I love her to bits. I think this family would be a lot different without her.
I love you a bit, but...
A bit?
Just this big.
Come on.
Okay.
No, she's amazing.
It's beautiful how they care for each other.
For him, it's really a challenge. Dealing with a sister who can't communicate and not communicate that well. Those are tough calls for a little boy. If we would have known during the pregnancy, in hindsight, you wonder, had we known that she had Down syndrome, would that have explained, would that have predicted the life we have now with Ima? No. So you wonder why you actually need that information. What does it tell you? Yeah, you're going to have a child with Down syndrome, but it doesn't tell you how life will be and how that person will, because it's going to be a person. It's going to be your daughter or your son. What kind of person it will be.
He's taught us so much about who we are as people, and basically he has given us an insight that we might not have had if he didn't have his condition. I think we feel, better people as a result.
I mean, having a child changes your life, but it's just changed a lot more than I could imagine.
Just
Sorry.
a whole range
I was
of
thinking about
ways.
how much I love him, and just,
Attitude was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.